Alrighty. Good evening. How's everybody doing? We're gonna run through the market, kind of see what's going on. I'm gonna try and do a little bit of less hesitations and stuff when I'm doing these market dives and looking at stuff in the charts. Sometimes I get some thoughts while I'm kind of looking at things, and my mind moves 100 miles an hour. That's how I stay ahead of a lot of these moves. So, getting into it, we're gonna start with the S&P. So again, the S&P, strong pickup all the way back here from September 20. So we got a strong pickup move right here. We got the nice W formation. We got the market move up on the daily. But the market here just consistently running. And then it finally starts to cool off here, showing weakness. Then we get the higher move right here, right? And then we get the lower high. So this is our first lower high to our first higher low, right? So this is the higher low to the higher high. This is the middle move right here. So because price was not able to continue with higher lows, price then started to break down. You have your first breakdown here. You then have your major breakdown here. Then you get a reactionary bounce off the liquidity in the zone. It pushes price up to this broadening wedge. And then that price then declines hugely, right? Based on the bad news, based on all the things going on economically, this is kind of like your major crash. And now we're getting this move back up. You're trying to recover the liquidity. Liquidity pushes up to this. This is a strong resistance zone right here. The really strong resistance zone, right? So you got, this is like the majority of the move. So all this move has now become resistance. Right now, a lot of people are looking at this specifically. And this was expected. This was really expected. A lot, people be like, oh no, but no, they can say whatever they want. Look, gap. And we talked about this in the other video, that gaps are typically recovered, right? We've also got a gap right here. So in reality, we got a bear flag here, but this bear flag could just get bigger, right? It could move to something like this. And you don't want to see something like that, because if this becomes a bear flag in this formation, you've got the drop right into the lower zone, consolidation, move. This is going to be a major move up into a major move down. The breakdown will be nasty on that. Now, does it mean that price will move all the way up here? Not necessarily. We could just end up double topping right here, right? We could get the failed rally to the upside. Everybody's expecting price to start moving from here. We get the excitement in the market. And really in reality, look, August, September, this whole move could play out through all the way through August, could get price up to this position. And then September is when we see the dump. Now, September is the next FOMC. So I am expecting the markets to try and play on this news and try and play retail stupid. I really am. And I normally don't say words like that, but the market makers are very devious right now with the moves that they're making. So understanding these moves and understanding what the market makers' intentions are, I'm not bullish on the market currently. Currently, I'm still waiting, right? I'm waiting patiently. Now, did you have good buying opportunities down here? Yes, I think anywhere in these zones below around 3,700, 3,600, you're in prime buy zone, right? You have to take targets like this. You can't be like, hey, I'm waiting for bottom. You have to take targets, right? And I know we discussed the pyramid in the past, and I did not tell you guys what the pyramid is. So we got the broadening wedge here. We got the move up, right? Let's take this like a pyramid, right? Let's ixnay everything out. Let's just get rid of everything. This should be our biggest buy zone, by the way. So if we were to take this in a pyramid formation, right? So we got our bounce here. We can clearly see that. We know that price could potentially come down deeper, right? And because we have strong support right here, I think. And with knowing that we have strong support here, in that case, we can then draw, and this thing looks beautiful for it, a pyramid, right? So on this pyramid up, we got this move up, beautiful move up. We're going to kind of move that pyramid out. We're going to drop this price down, and we're moving the pyramid out so it doesn't get kind of convoluted inside the move, right? And then we got the move down, right? So we got equal move up to equal move down. Does it have to move like that? No, but this thing looks beautiful inside this pyramid right now. I love it. So we're going to kind of move with this with levels. So from this move, we're essentially looking for support and resistances, right? So you got a heavy support here. So we know this is a good zone for a buy zone. You've also got a heavy support here, right? Another good position for a buy. You've also got good support right in here. Also another great position for a buy. And you've, in addition to that, got a good support in here. Another good position for a buy. So you can eliminate this position if you want, One of these two have to go. I'm just going to go with the upper one, and I'm going to show you what you should be looking for. So what this means is if I'm looking to long-term DCA, I would take this as my definitive move, right? Knowing the overall market trend, knowing where price can go, I've built a pyramid on top of my price action. So I know that price can get back to these COVID scenarios. Now, am I expecting something like this? No, this is insane, right? There might be some price action down here. That, I mean, it would take a lot to do that. But as of right now, price is not telling me that, right? Right now, price is telling me though the rest of this liquidity here, this full run up, is recoverable if you look at it from a price action move. So if it's recoverable, then that means that, you know, we still could potentially see lower lows, but we have to take good opportunity. Oh, I just messed that up. Good opportunity when we see it. That's just the reality of it. Let me see if I can line it up right. All right, beautiful. All right, so we're gonna take this right here. We're gonna move that over to there. We'll actually leave that there because I like it better there. I'm gonna go with this. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it right. All right, that looks beautiful. All right, right there. And then we'll drop this right here to right there. All right, this looks beautiful. I like this. So how we're gonna break this out, right? So pyramids work like this. 10%, right? How else do pyramids work? You got 10% there. You got 15% here, right? 15%. You got 20% here, right? Maybe 25, 20, 25. Well, let's bump it up to 25. We'll say 25% here. And then you got another 40% here. And so if we take all this price action, so we got 30, 40, 50%, right? And then we got 90%. So from here to here, we have 25%. And then from here to here, we have 50%, right? And then from here to here, we have 40%. Now, this is just my strategy. I'm not telling you guys what you should do with your money. This is just my strategy. This is how I like to get into the market when I'm looking for long-term investments. So as we're building, right? As we're building the market, up here you have 10%. So if you want to enter the market on a DCA strategy, this is how much you'll, oh, sorry, I did not mean to put 40 here. I meant to put 90. So 90%. And what you're doing is you're compounding the percentages on how much you should be in the market on each move. So each move for me, as you can see here, I'm 10% up here. I'm 25% up down here. I'm 50% in right here, right? In this zone, which I'm typically looking for the bottom of the zone, 50% in right here. And then if we get down in this lower zone, you should be buying up. You should be buying up. You should be 90% in on the move. Now, if price happens to go lower, that's the missing 10%. So Black Swan, I know where price can go. I don't know if price will go, but I know where price can go. Black Swan event, we could see prices as low as this. And so if we're seeing prices as low as this, guess what? This 10% I put in right here on this move, this 10%, and maybe you got to have that order already set in place so that way you don't miss it. This 10% will make up majority of my buys up here, just with that 10%. Now, ideally, you want to DCA down into higher and higher and higher positions, but this is a hopium position, right? This is a position that could happen, but may not happen. And because we're looking at it in that perspective, we have to understand that we can't be too greedy on our moves. So with that being said, we got our 10% here. That finalizes the bottom of the pyramid. The pyramid then comes down, right? And the pyramid completes. And that's basically what you're left with on the pyramid completion. So pyramid completes, price across, 10, 15, 25, 40, and 10. This 10 would then leave you 100% in the market at this position. And I think from a long-term perspective, if you can get in at these positions, you can get in at these zones with a strategy like this, long-term perspective, these kind of drops tend to lead to huge recoveries, right? Look, boom. Now, granted, we did have the W formation here, which resulted in the upside, right? And this W formation here took a long time to work out. You're looking at 00 all the way to basically 2012. So 12 years. So again, you better have your long-term pants on. But in a long-term perspective, this is a way I would get into the market. And this is a good way to, potentially save you a lot of losses as price continues dropping to the downside. So outside of that, just a good strategy for you guys to understand. We can also see volume dropping as price is rising. Again, something I talk about religiously. I hope people kind of get what that means. That means that interest is dropping, price is rising, false move. So we could see price really dip on this one. Again, could price go deeper? Sure, but I can't read that far into the future. I'm sorry, but the most I can expect is maybe 2020 pricing, right? That's the best scenario I can look at right now. So with that being said, we understand this is the S&P, and I just discussed where the S&P can go, what it is doing, and what it might do moving forward. Again, ETH, I'm going to discuss this another time because I need people to really understand this. Again, ETH is breaking above support, right? Or resistance. See that resistance? ETH has now found support on the resistance. It's got the higher move. Now you got to be careful with these because this could turn into a B into a C, and this higher move could end up resulting in a drop. Now, another thing it can do is continue building, and they could start building into this zone, this 2000 zone, but I think they will get rejected due to the fact of looking at price activity, right? So price activity in this zone is really low. There's not a lot of price interest in the zone. You can see buyers are like, I don't know if I want that price. So they start selling off at this position, right? So because they start selling off at this position, in that case, you should probably be careful when price is getting close to the same position they were willing to sell off hugely at, right? Buyers are not just going to be interested again in a price that they weren't previously interested in. That's why I'm telling people to be very careful with these moves. Okay, BTC, same thing. Look, BTC broke below left shoulder, just as discussed previously, right? Came down, built below, premium pricing zone right here. Then that switched, and now this turns into the market maker move. This is the premium zone now. So this is the premium zone until it's not. When they start making moves up, then this will become the market zone, and the higher zone will become the premium zone. Now, can they press higher? For sure. The premium can always be higher, but the result is always the same in a bear. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the result. So I want you guys to understand this first. In a bull market, you get moves, pull back. Moves, pull back. See how this looks? Look at this consolidation, pull back right here. Look at this very closely and look at this move. Then you get moves, pull back, so on and so forth. Now over here, what are we getting? Well, we got our move up, our build long into our moves, pull back, right? Moves, pull back. And you can see the wicks right here. This is a build long. It is a build long. And then you get your pullback, and then you get your moves, and now you're getting a pullback again. Be careful getting into these markets thinking that these premium zones are price action actually reversing, right? You get the move long, the ABC at the top, indicating probably more than likely dropping. Price does that. You get then the build long, and then I want to show you guys these premium zones. They are premium zones for a reason. Look at price. Look at how price built under the zone. The market maker held support and pushed price into a higher position. Over here, the market maker held support, built long, right? Held support, kept resistance, and then broke price into a premium buy zone and then sold off. Market maker then did the same thing here. Market maker held price, broke price, and then sold off. And each time it results in a lower high. So we could see that same move over here where prices drop down, price is broken into a higher zone, lower high, and then we could see the market essentially tank from here. But again, that's one scenario. The other scenario I'm looking at is they could build price action until September and then dump price. But if price dumps until September and then September continues dumping, that could be really, really bad for markets. A lot of these markets are searching for liquidity. They know retail will jump in on this, and they know retail will give them their money for free. So keep that in mind. Again, you've got volume dropping, right? Right through here. Volume's not that bad, but as price becomes very volatile, what are you seeing with volume? Volume is spiking, and it's primarily spiking during huge sell-offs, right? Huge sell-off, huge spike. Huge sell-off, huge spike. Huge sell-off in this zone, huge spike. Now, volume is dropping, right? As we discussed in the past, volume is dropping, and what's happening to price? Price is doing the opposite. That's a problem, all right? We have to remember that can be a huge problem. Volume cannot be dropping and price be rising. That's not indicating positive price action. That's basically saying manipulation. That's what it's screaming. So if we look at those two factors, be careful with BTC. There can be more upside, right? There can be more upside. Definitely, I think there can be more upside. And really, they could drive it pretty high if they wanted to. They could probably even drive it up in 30K. But the fact is, at the end of the day, they're building long to go short. When the market is building long, the market maker is buying shorts. The market maker is building for a short. The market maker doesn't look for small shorts. The market maker looks for big moves. Just like the market maker entices buys in big moves, right? Then they take the liquidity and then they go. And if you think that this is false, this is some kind of false theory, right here, when you're moving up, you retrace. Move up, retrace. Move down, retrace. Move down, retrace. Move down, retrace. And look, if the market intends for the market to build long, what is the market maker going to do? The market maker is going to have you build short and they're going to build long. This is the market maker building long. See the downtrend, the decline right here? That's the market maker building long. And that build long ended up resorting in the market maker being able to burst the market to the upside. This is the market maker building short. All right. Don't be too optimistic in the market. Be very careful with what you're seeing and what you're hearing and what influencers you're following. Again, I try not to call myself an influencer specifically, but I always try to give the truth and try to give you guys the facts. Again, ADA sitting here on a doji, right? This is a doji candle. It's a bullish doji, right? So if it can close on the weekly in this position, we could probably call it a bullish doji. But right now, you know, I think they'll come back down and recover all that because that was the weekly. This is the daily, and it takes 4 more days before that weekly finishes. You can see volume right here dropping dramatically on ADA, man. Like I would almost say ADA's building short to go long, and it could do that, right? I think it could burst around the hard fork or whatever that's going to happen. They could be building short to really kind of blow this thing up to around 76 cents, something like that. And then we catch that hard support right in the zone, right around 70, 76 cents. So definitely watch the zone right here. I think this is something to watch. They could move price in that direction from this build short. So these are the kind of moves I'd be looking for upside, right? Again, we got basically Matic. Like the market got sold on, right, on this entire candle, and the market comes back in again for more pain. Like it makes no sense. That's the weekly, guys. Like you got the lower high, you got the huge wick up here selling huge selling pressure. The market's struggling to try and get any low. I don't know what people in the market are thinking. Lower high, look at that, lower high, and what to do. And I haven't adjusted anything on my chart. I haven't adjusted anything. I showed you guys this in multiple videos. I've showed you this on Matic. So like the zone hasn't changed. The market came back and perfectly retested my zone. Look right there. Boom, boom. That's where I got that price from. That same price, look. Not hard to read, guys. You just got to pay attention to the moves. I am still expecting lower lows for Solana. Matic, sorry. Solana we'll get to next. Matic. Man, I can see Matic getting wrecked pretty hard. There's so much opium in the market. Again, we got what? Look at that bear flag. Bear flag's still playing. Look, they bounced perfectly on the bottom of trend. And now they're going to start building up again. So they could even build as high as like $54. But ultimately, I think this thing comes down. We could see some wicks outside of the zone. So far, it's held really well. You got the perfect retest of this candle right here, side to side. They could push price even as high as the swing low here around $78 and then reverse Solana deep. There's a lot of liquidity over here untapped, a lot of liquidity. All right, we're not really gonna get into Litecoin. It's not really doing anything, not interesting. Google, again, look, I pointed out the gaps. I pointed out the gaps for you guys last video. Look at it, perfect. Move into the gap, reversal, back up to the price gap. And they keep playing the zone. They keep playing the zone. Perfect catch right here on the bear flag. We're looking good. I think eventually this thing will break down now. The consolidation is like the money is just swishing back and forth, swishing back and forth. Eventually this is going to get tiring. Somebody's going to drop their bag. All right, Disney. Similar scenario. Disney, it's not going anywhere. Like maybe $114, $115 before it jumps back down again. I don't see Disney as an interesting thing right now. Like it's got so much controversy around Disney right now and everything else that, you know, I know their margins aren't looking good, right? As far as like what they're bringing in and stuff like that, because, you know, of their choices and stuff. So with that being said, I don't know if Disney will do well. Like it's a questionable stock. Amazon. We talked about this. There's your rejection. I think we'll continue consolidating under the zone. Lucid. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at that. Sorry. Get excited when I see these things. Look at that. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look. 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 And I think they'll probably come back down to this lower zone again. So you got a good trend there if you're looking to buy and sell Lucid. Okay, Adobe. Man, I can't believe they got stopped out there. Yeah, this is a hard one because like the reality is they're a little bit above the zone here, right? But it's hard to tell if they can actually get some momentum to stay in the zone. I could see them kind of dropping from here all the way back down to this next zone that I'm looking for, which is around 295. I think, yeah, about 295. All right, US 02, nothing crazy. I know people keep, the bond fell back. Look at this. And then I'm going to show you something else. Everybody keeps screaming the bond fell. Look how much the bond rose. People need to get off that horse. That horse is dead. We're finding support on the previous resistance right here, right? So because these two scenarios are happening, I would be careful. I think the bonds can still rise. And you already heard the Fed today. The Fed said they're going to continue offloading, which means bonds are going to rise in price. It's just the facts. We got Tesla right here. Tesla's doing some weird stuff, so it's finding support above resistance. So we could see Tesla heading back into this premium price range, up to the top and kind of consolidating here before we end up getting that right shoulder. I definitely think Tesla's heading towards a head and shoulders. It's looking bad for Tesla, in my opinion. We could see Tesla retest this 384. I know there's so many people in this bullish scenario with Tesla, but like this is 2019. Okay, this is 2020. Like this is abnormal price action. I could see Tesla recovering a lot of this. Right now, my best case scenario is here around a 384. I think this is a great DCA position. And then if price can go lower, amazing, right? Maybe we can see 104 or whatever. Maybe there's some kind of split or something that happens that causes this. But price is telling me these zones. If we look here at oil, we get the price imbalance, we got the consolidation, we got the consolidation underneath. So the high consolidation, low consolidation. Now again, market makers move in three moves. They move towards the downside, then they move towards the upside. So since they moved towards the downside and the upside, we've essentially got 1, 2, 3, right? So now we could really see oil just kind of consolidating in the zone, because this is their first move, this is their second move, and this is their third move before they drop, and then price comes back up and it recovers. And really oil could rebound pretty high in reality, but I don't really see them getting above $150 a barrel, because that's unsustainable prices. So if you get into an unsustainable scenario, yes, price could realistically get up in those ranges, and if it starts getting up in those ranges, that's going to be really bad for a lot of things economically. So if we think about that, it's not something I want to look towards right now. So right now I'm just kind of looking at the current zones, what's going on in the current zone. So this is where I'm stabilizing oil. Oil could go as high as $147 a barrel like previously. All right, BNB still doing weird stuff. I don't get why, like, I mean, I get it, but like price action definitely, like BNB is actually holding up better than Bitcoin in my opinion, which the insanity in that is just mind boggling. I don't get it. Because you got BNB here in 2021, right? So here's 2020. BNB's all the way down here at $20. You've got all this liquidity that stepped in and it hasn't been tapped yet. So just like Solana, man, I could see BNB getting wrecked at some point. So BNB could easily try and play here as long as it wants, but we got a ways before the next halving. So this could happen at any time, right? And they could just sit here and play this, but eventually they're going to come back for this liquidity before they make any moves. There's just so much price action in the zone. And yes, it's on the weekly, but like that shows clearly what happened with that price action. And you got the shift here, right? So a lot of people are like, well, what about this? Yeah, there is a clear gap here too, right? And BNB never really came back to recover that. But look at this gap and look at this gap. That's a huge difference between the two. So if we look at both, like I could see BNB at least coming down and retapping most of this, if not all of it, due to the way price moved. Like this is insanity right here. So moving on to SHOP. Again, SHOP still playing under resistance. There's nothing going on with SHOP. And this is on a monthly, by the way. This is a daily right here. But if you guys wanted to play the highs and lows, I'll give you the highs and lows. So the low is around 30.83 and the high here is sitting around $40. I would buy around 30.83, $31, and I would sell around $40. That would be a high and low. And you could probably trade this thing up and down until it breaks the zone. We got good consolidation over here. That's the same consolidation we're seeing over here. And the price eventually could break down though and end up in this lower zone around 11.94 if SHOP continues to trend badly. All right, Twitter. I told you guys don't touch it. I told you. I literally told you. And look at it. Twitter got wrecked, came back up, consolidating under resistance. Now, the funny thing about Twitter is Twitter could come back and grab those gaps, right? Twitter could definitely come back and grab those gaps. So be careful with Twitter, but like with the whole thing with Elon and stuff, like I don't know if I'd be touching stocks that are being played with like that. It's not a good play. Netflix. So Netflix still playing through. I don't know if Netflix, did they actually make the zone yet? Nope. Netflix still has done nothing. Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous. Price is coming back up to retest resistance. Look at this daily gap right here. Look at this daily gap. I mean, it could try and go for the gap before it comes down, but I think it will come down eventually. You got around 330. That's a pretty big upside. Think about it like this. In January, it was the same thing. If you took off September, October, November, December, you got in around those times, January, everything pumped up really hard. Everybody felt confident in the market, and then what did it do directly after? It dumped. So you got to be careful with these moves. They're going to take advantage of this gap we're going to have in the FOMC, and they're going to try and pump prices, I think. Dollar pulling back a little bit. Nothing too crazy. As long as the dollar maintains above this 102 zone, which is the original consolidation zone, as long as they remain above that position, I'm still bullish on the dollar. I think the dollar will continue to trend up. It just needs to stay around or above that zone. All right, so CNY to the USD. So this is the Chinese yuan against the US dollar. As you can see right here, Chinese yuan is actually getting crushed against the dollar right now. They were building really well against the dollar. So I would look for price to probably come back to this support right around 0.214 or 218, 0.218. And then I would probably potentially look for a long. I think they're going to consolidate in this zone for right now. If they can get above this zone right here, if they can get above this zone, they could moon. They could really moon. They could do one of these really quick. If they get below this zone, there's some problems because now we're revisiting the lows, right? And this lower high, which is higher than this low, right? So you got the low, the low, high, pull back, low, high again, right? So if we start breaking down to this low high and we break below this low high, the won could really see some downside. ETH BTC chart. ETH is kind of hitting a wall against BTC right here. That's what else is making me think that ETH is kind of topping. So you can see right here, ETH has been in this trend the whole time, this bearish trend against BTC, and it may continue to see downside from this. So be careful with that. Again, the only positive thing I'm seeing here is that ETH went from building long to building short, right, against Bitcoin. So ETH ultimately could see an explosion against Bitcoin. Now, do I think that explosion will be long-lived? I don't. But it's something to keep an eye on, something interesting that I'm seeing right here between the ETH BTC. We got that low volume over here during the buildup, and now we're getting huge volume spikes during the breakdown. And really that breakdown could occur anywhere, right? It could come all the way down to here before it ends up kind of outpacing Bitcoin again. So always keep an eye on that. Again, right over here in 2020, you can see in January, February, March, and March is kind of where Ethereum kind of took over, right? So 3 months into the year, Ethereum took over against Bitcoin, but it was losing against Bitcoin the whole first quarter of the year. So you have to be careful with these type of moves. It could end up kind of coming up and then start losing against Bitcoin again before it starts making rallies again. All right. And that means negative price action for ETH if that happens. So there's some ideas on the market. This is kind of my outlook currently. Be careful trading and try not to get too bullish or too bearish. I think we're kind of in a neutral zone for the market, really, in reality. I'm not overly bearish, I'm not overly bullish. We're kind of in that neutral, and we could see some green. So some positive price action could be occurring. And with that positive price action, though, I think the result is always the same, and the result is go long to go short. So at least for now, while we're in the bear market. So I think that there could be some more price action to see, but again, go long to go short. I'm always looking for that short opportunity, because right now, which one's bigger? Is the long bigger or the short bigger? Definitely the short. So you're going to make your most money shorting the market versus long in the market. So we're looking for the top of these big shorts, and then we're trying to squeeze liquidity down. And then these longs, you can ride this all the way down, but what's the point? Just take the profit at the bottom, right? And you don't really know the bottom, but you could see where price action bounces, and you could take price even down here. Let price re-rise. Once price rises and breaks out, you can take the price back down again. So this is kind of the play. You can get a little bit extra liquidity doing that. If you're not comfortable with doing those kind of moves, you could always take a peek. Once you get that huge drop, you're good. You're safe. So keep that in mind. All right, guys. Until next time, I'll see you later.
You on my way, you gon' need a vest. Act big, you might get stretched. All your gun talk, I ain't impressed. My 45 seen real traffic. That's Dallas, Texas. My little partner called her body for a Maserati. He told him get about the car, hit him with the shotty. That 12 gauge gave him life in the 12th grade. I tried to write him, but we ain't on the same page. I caught him slipping, I just had to let him know it ain't the end of times yet. I know, but it's getting close. These demons really out to get you, so you better guard your post. There's certain things I could probably let go, but I can't let them take my soul. Nah.